In the nightmare of the 41st millennium, we are taught that there is only war. We are conditioned to look for the darkness, the screaming faces of daemons, the rusted machinery of the world eaters, or the cold, sterile genocide of the necrons. But what if the greatest threat to your soul doesn't come with a chainsword? What if it comes with a smile, a promise of progress, and a hand outstretched in friendship? Today, we decode the most deceptive light in the galaxy, the Tau Empire and their philosophy of the greater good. Imagine a world where you no longer hunger, where technology serves the common man, and where every citizen has a purpose. To a citizen of the decaying Imperium of man, this sounds like a paradise. But in Warhammer 40K, every paradise is a cage, and every savior is a jailer. The Tauva, or the greater good, is not a choice, it is a mandate. Behind the sleek pulse rifles and the elegant battlesuits lies a chilling truth that should terrify you more than any chaos cult. The greater good is often presented as a beacon of hope in the galaxy of madness. But as we peel back the layers of Tau society, we find a system of control so absolute that it makes the Inquisition look clumsy. While the Imperium breaks your body with labor and fear, the Tau Empire seeks to rewrite who you are. They don't just want your service, they want your mind, your loyalty, and your very essence. They offer unity, but the cost of that unity is everything that makes you an individual. Now, consider the stakes. You are a human governor on a fringe world, abandoned by the Golden Throne. When the Tau arrive, they don't burn your cities. They offer medicine, trade, and peace. It's an easy choice, isn't it? But this is where the trap is set. Before we dive into the dark machinery of Tau diplomacy and the biological mysteries of their leadership, we must ask, is a comfortable lie better than a painful truth? This is the chilling reality of the Tauva. If you seek to understand the hidden horrors of the 41st millennium, you have found your sanctuary. Before we unmask the Ethereals, subscribe to Silent Imperium and join our ranks. Together, we will decode the grimdark truth that others fear to speak. To understand the horror of the Tau, you must first understand the beauty they project. The Tauva is the guiding principle that all should strive for the betterment of the collective rather than the individual. On the surface, it is a utilitarian dream. Resources are shared, technology is leveraged for the public good, and every race, from the avian Kroot to the insectoid Vespid, is told they have a vital role to play in the grand machinery of the Empire. But look closer at the structure of this unity. The Tau society is strictly divided into 5 castes: fire, earth, water, air, and the ruling Ethereals. This isn't just a social organization, it is a biological and cultural apartheid. You are born into your role and you will die in it. A member of the Earth caste can never know the thrill of the hunt. A fire warrior will never understand the joy of creation. In the Tau Empire, unity is achieved through the absolute suppression of social mobility. Compare this to the Imperium. As brutal as the Emperor's realm is, a lowly hive worker can, through luck or faith, become a hero, an inquisitor, or even a saint. In the Tau Empire, your fate is coded into your genes before you take your first breath. The greater good is a machine, and you are merely a cog. If a cog attempts to turn in a different direction, it is not just broken, it is realigned. This is the subtle tyranny that defines the Tauva. The propaganda of the Water Caste is a masterclass in psychological warfare. They speak of enlightenment and the path, but their words are a velvet glove hiding a fist of cold logic. They don't conquer planets with orbital bombardments, they colonize them with ideas. They find the cracks in your society, the grievances of the oppressed, and they offer a solution. But the solution always leads to the same destination: total subservience to the Tauva. At the heart of this empire sit the Ethereals, the On. They are the spiritual and political anchors of the Tau race, and their power is as absolute as it is mysterious. Before the coming of the first Ethereals, the Tau were a primitive race on the brink of self-annihilation. In a single night, these mysterious figures appeared and ended centuries of war with a few words. But how? How does a single individual command the fanatical devotion of billions? The answer is one of the most disturbing enigmas in Warhammer 40K. It is widely theorized by Imperial xenobiologists that the Ethereals possess a biological or pheromonal control over other Tau. When an Ethereal speaks, a Tau does not just listen, they feel an overwhelming physical compulsion to obey. This isn't loyalty born of conviction, it is a biological leash. Now imagine being a fire warrior who is ordered to commit ritual suicide for the greater good. You don't hesitate, you don't question, you simply do it, because your biology has been hijacked. But the horror deepens when the Tau encounter other species. While pheromones might work on Tau biology, how do they control the Kroot or the humans who join their cause? This is where the charisma of the Ethereals takes on a darker, perhaps psychic undertone. There are reports of Ethereals standing amidst a hail of gunfire, untouched and serene, while their mere presence turns enemies into weeping converts. This isn't leadership, it is an atmospheric violation of free will. Consider the Ethereal Supreme, An-Va. Even after his death, the Tau leadership used holographic projections and AI to maintain the illusion that he was still alive. Why? Because the facade of the Ethereal's perfection is the only thing holding the Empire together. Without the shadow of the Ethereals, the castes would fall back into civil war. The greater good is a house of cards built on the foundation of a biological lie. The Ethereals are not just leaders, they are the puppet masters of a species-wide trance. The Water Caste often speaks of compliance as if it were a spiritual awakening, a voluntary step into the light of reason. But for those who stand in the path of the Tau's expansion, the reality is far more transactional. When a Tau fleet enters orbit, the ultimatum is clear: join the greater good and thrive, or resist and be erased. This is not the wild, screaming hatred of an Orc Wa or the mindless hunger of the Tyranids. This is a cold, calculated annexation. For the human worlds on the Damocles Gulf, this invitation often feels like a godsend. After centuries of neglect from a distant and uncaring Golden Throne, the arrival of clean technology and efficient administration is seductive. These Givesa, or human helpers, are integrated into the Empire, allowed to keep their faith in the God Emperor as long as it does not conflict with the Tauva. But this tolerance is a temporary tactical concession, a velvet trap designed to ensure a bloodless transition. However, what happens to those who value their sovereignty above all else? In the archives of the silent Imperium, we find the tragic records of races like the Anthrazods or the Brachyura. These were species who possessed unique skills but lacked the correct philosophical alignment. Initially welcomed, they soon found their cultures diluted, their leaders replaced by ethereal-approved puckets, and eventually, their very identities subsumed. Compliance is not just about taxes and tribute, it is about the total surrender of a species' historical soul. Consider the improvement we discussed, the mystery of the disappearing races. There are whispers of entire star systems that once teemed with life, species that initially resisted the Tau's enlightenment. When the Water Caste's diplomacy failed, the Fire Caste did not just conquer them, they systematically dismantled their civilization. Today, no record of their names remains in the Tau's pristine databanks. They didn't just die, they were unmade, edited out of the galaxy's history to maintain the illusion of a peaceful expansion. The deeper we go, the darker the light of the Tau becomes. If you find these revelations as chilling as we do, make sure to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Does the end justify the means for the greater good? Let us know, and let's continue our descent.
For those within the Empire who exhibit deviant thoughts, the Tau have perfected the art of re-education. Unlike the Imperium, which might execute a heretic or turn them into a mindless servitor, the Tau prefer a more psychological approach. They utilize advanced neural conditioning and sensory deprivation to correct the subject's worldview. It is a terrifyingly quiet process. You enter the facility as an individual with doubts, and you emerge as a smiling advocate for the Ethereals, your will broken and reset. But perhaps the most horrifying tool in the Tau's arsenal is their approach to population control. On worlds where the human population is deemed too large or too rebellious, the Tau have been known to introduce chemical agents into the food and water supply. These agents do not kill, they simply render the population sterile. This was famously documented during the aftermath of the cleansing of Agrellan. The Tau did not need to build gas chambers, they simply ensured that there would be no next generation. This surgical horror is what defines the Tau's version of Grimdark. While a Chaos Space Marine might flay you alive for the glory of corn, the Tau will calmly explain that your inability to reproduce is a necessary sacrifice for the stability of the sector. There is no malice in their actions, only a chillingly detached logic. They are the cosmic equivalent of a gardener pruning a hedge. To them, you are not a sentient being with rights. You are a biological variable to be managed. Compare this to the brutal, honest tyranny of the Imperium. The Emperor's realm hates you, and it tells you so every day. You know where you stand. But the Tau Empire loves you like a scientist loves a test subject. They will feed you, clothe you, and protect you, all while preparing the needle that will quietly end your lineage. It is a slow-motion genocide hidden behind the bright aesthetics of high-tech pulse rifles and elegant drones. This is the true price of the good. The Tau's diplomacy is a weapon of mass destruction, just as potent as a Nova cannon, but far more insidious. They don't just take your land, they take your future. By the time a conquered world realizes they are being phased out of existence, it is already too late. Their children are fewer, their culture is a memory, and their world has been seamlessly reconfigured to serve the needs of the Sept. The greater good does not coexist, it consumes, leaving only a sterile, efficient void in its wake. But the most profound weakness of the greater good lies in the very nature of the universe it seeks to inhabit. The Tau are a race with almost no presence in the warp, a soul-dull species that the demons of the Imperium initially ignored. This lack of spiritual depth gave the Tau a dangerous sense of arrogance. They believed they could master the galaxy through logic and physics alone. But the warp is not a physical problem to be solved. It is a nightmare that demands a tribute in blood and faith, things the Tau Va is ill-equipped to provide. The fourth sphere expansion remains the most harrowing testament to this ignorance. When the Tau attempted to use slipstream technology to bridge the stars, they tore a hole into the warp without Geller fields. What they saw there changed them forever. It wasn't just the monsters outside the hull, it was the realization that their greater good had a reflection in the warp, a multi-armed, terrifying god birthed by the collective belief of their auxiliary races. The Tau were so horrified by this monstrosity of faith that they turned on their own allies,
massacring the humans and Kroot who had saved them. This brings us to the tragedy of Commander Farsight. He is the only Tau leader to have looked into the abyss and refused to blink. By breaking away from the Ethereals, Farsight revealed the ultimate truth. The greater good is a lie because it ignores the fundamental nature of the soul. In the Farsight enclaves, they understand that peace is not just the absence of war, it is the presence of strength. The Ethereals hide the truth of chaos because they know that once a citizen understands the warp, the pheromonal leash of the Aun caste will no longer be enough to hold them. The Tau Empire is a candle flickering in a hurricane of ancient, hateful gods. They speak of progress while the galaxy burns, and they preach unity while the very warp entities they deny are feeding on the souls of their subjects. Their logic is a shield of glass against a tide of iron. By the time the Tau realize that the universe cannot be bargained with or integrated, their small empire will be nothing more than a footnote in the history of a galaxy that was never meant for the kind or the rational. Consider the hypocrisy of the Aun caste's silence. They claim to lead the Tau toward a brighter future, yet they leave their people blind to the predators of the warp. Is it for the greater good to keep a child blind so they do not fear the dark, even as the monster enters the room? This is the ultimate betrayal. The Tau Va is not a solution to the grim darkness. It is a temporary anesthesia, a way to die quietly while convinced that you are part of something noble.
As we stand back and look at the totality of the Tau Empire, we see a different shade of Grimdark, one that is clean, clinical, and utterly heartless. The Imperium of man is a gothic nightmare of fire and brimstone, but the Tau Empire is a sterile lab where you are the specimen. In the Tauva, there is no room for the messy, unpredictable nature of the human spirit. There is only the good, and the good is whatever the Ethereals decide it is today. To live under the Tau is to trade your freedom for a comfortable cage. The tragedy of the Gueva, the humans who joined the Tau, is perhaps the most poignant lesson. They left the cruelty of the Imperium seeking hope, only to find that they were merely changing masters. They are used as meat shields in the Fire Caste's vanguard. Their faith is sterilized, and their future is managed by bureaucrats who view them as a biological resource. They have traded the chance to be a hero in the Emperor's name for the privilege of being a well-fed cog in a soulless machine. Now, imagine the final outcome of the greater good, a galaxy where every world is uniform, every thought is synchronized, and every soul is quiet. It is a piece of the grave. The Tau do not want to save the galaxy, they want to domesticate it. They want to turn the roaring, chaotic glory of existence into a predictable, managed spreadsheet. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, this order is perhaps the most terrifying fate of all, because it is an order that has no place for the soul. Think about the faces of those who disappear into the re-education camps, or the silent grief of a mother whose lineage was quietly ended by a chemical additive in her water. These are the quiet screams of the Tauva. They don't echo through the halls of a cathedral, and they don't attract the attention of the Inquisition. They are simply erased, filed away as a necessary cost of progress. This is the chilling truth. The Tauva is not about you. It is about the good, and you are always expendable for the sake of the collective. The light of the Tau is a false dawn. It promises a morning that will never come, because the galaxy is not a place that allows for such dreams. The Tauva is a noble lie, a desperate attempt by a young race to impose reason on a universe that went mad 10,000 years ago. In the end,
The greater good is just another meat grinder, only this one is painted in bright, hopeful colors and operated by masters who smile while they turn the handle.
We are left with a haunting question. In a universe where the only options are cruel god or a cold machine, which would you choose? The Imperium breaks your body, but the Tau Empire seeks to own your very essence. The greater good is a seductive poison, a promise of safety in exchange for your identity. As we have decoded today, the shadow cast by the Tau's light is just as long and just as dark as any other in the 41st millennium. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of the silent horrors of the Tau Empire. The galaxy is vast, and the truths we uncover are rarely pleasant. If you have found value in this decoding of the Tauva, consider supporting our work by subscribing and sharing this video. Our journey through the grim darkness of the silent Imperium is far from over, and there are many more secrets waiting to be unmasked. Until next time, remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is no such thing as a greater good. There is only the struggle to remain human.